Ready. So here we go. How did you start problem number 1? What did you do with problem number 1?
Find the angle.
No. I'm not talking about on the quiz. I'm talking about on this practice sheet. Your job is to simplify this. So how do we start? Change. Leave the sign alone. We don't change signs. Change secant squared into what? 1 over cosine squared. How about cosecant? Cosecant. Cosecant.
1 over sine.
1 over sine. And cotangent. Cosine over sine. Then what do we do? Yep, see what we'll cross out. So let's see. There's 2 sines here that will cancel with the sine squared. There is 1 cosine that will cancel with one of those. So on the top, what's left? 1. On the bottom, we have a cosine. What is 1 over cosine? Secant. Anybody have a question about one of those steps? On your quiz on Monday, there will be a problem like this. It'll look like this. And you will go through and do exactly what we did. Change everything into sines and cosines and cancel away. The other problem will look like this one. You will be expected to recognize an identity. This one is a little harder though, because before there's no identity. I mean, cubed, we don't have anything cubed, no. Look at that numerator though. Is there anything you could do to get that ball rolling in that numerator? Well, you can't cancel, but you could take out we could take out a sign from the numerator. And what happens if we pull out a sign? If we pull out a sign, what would we have left here? 1. And what would we have left here? Now there's your identity. That's where you have to start getting excited. What is 1 minus sine squared? Cosine squared. You need to recognize that's cosine squared. This is cosine squared. Now, can I cancel? Yep. And what will I be left with if I cancel this cosine and that one of those cosines? Sine cosine. So one of your problems is going to use the identities. 1 plus tangent squared is secant squared, 1 plus cotangent squared is cosecant squared, and sine squared plus cosine squared is 1. You're going to use one of those identities. And the other one's going to be like this. Okay? All right, good. Now, I so appreciate the card you guys sent me. I actually was in the hospital when I got it, in the blanket. And so I made you a little treat.
Oh, thank you,
because you are sweethearts.
You said usually.
All right, now, get out your note sheets. We're going to take a few notes.
This Ford?
Yeah.
What is this test?
I'm not sure. It won't be until at least a week from today.
Okay, thank God.
we're gonna finish up the material on Monday, and then you'll be reviewing with Mrs. Edwards?
Yeah. Will the pink sheets be allowed for the test?
No.
It's worth a try.
Okay. Today we have something new to talk about, and I know we don't have a lot of time, so I really need your attention. This is not on the quiz Monday. This is, I'm not going to quiz you over this. Maybe Mrs. Edwards will later on next week, but this is a little something different that we need to consider. Look on the back side of page 41 where it says 5.6. We see a picture that looks like this. This is triangle PQR, and the directions say solve the triangle. Now, isn't that exactly what your quiz said? And you had no problem with the quiz, at least I hope you didn't. You set up your law of sines, right? Now, how did we start the law of sines though? What did I tell you to look for? Before you set it up, what do you look for? The match. So like in this case, it would be P and P, Q and Q, R and R. Can you tell me what the issue is here? We don't have a match, okay? When you don't have a match, or I'll say a pair, when you don't have a pair, and by pair I mean A and A, B and B, C and C. When you don't have that, you have to use the law of cosines. Okay? Now, I want you to write down the law of cosines. It is a little bit more of a challenge. That is the law of cosines. Now, that's a biggie. Now I want to show you how easy it is to use this law though. First of all, how many capital letters do you see in here? One. So there's only one angle in the law of cosines. Notice that the capital is A, and the only small a in the problem is right here. So what I'm trying to get you to understand is, this problem doesn't even have A's, B's, and C's. But whatever angle you're going to use is the side that's right here all by itself. So for us, what angle are we going to use?
58.
We're going to use P. So we're going to have cosine 58. And that means this is going to be P squared. Because whatever your angle is that you are using, that's the side that's over here all by itself, the equals one. Okay? So since we're using angle P, we got side P over here by itself. You still with me? Now, what are these? These are small letters. So these are the other two sides. So here's P. So the other two sides would be 10 and 13. So I'm going to have 10 squared and 13 squared. It does not matter what order those are in. Minus 2, that's a 2. 2 times. Okay, now what's going to go in here? What will be in C? 10 and 13. So it's really not that tough. It's tough to kind of memorize and write it all out, but the way it works is really easy. Let's type this in on our calculators. Everybody, let's see what we come up with. So here's how you type it in. 10 squared. Does everybody see your squared button? Everybody knows what your squared button is? So just type 10 squared plus 13 squared minus 2 times 10 times 13 times cosine 58 equals. Notice I typed it in exactly like I wrote it, and then I hit equals when I was done. Now, here is the tricky part. That is not p. That is p squared. So what do we have to do to that number? So we're going to hit second square root, second answer. That way you don't have to retype it in. Just do second answer and it works for you. And did you get 11.46?
Yes.
What'd you put?
Once you got all that typed in, you hit find your square root button and then do second answer. And the answer is down on the negative, clear at the bottom of the thing. And that pulls the 131 down so you don't have to retype it in.
Wait, so you get the 131, then what?
Second square root, second answer. Now, boys and girls, we are not done with this problem. Look, we still need to find these angles, don't we? But look what you have now. Oh, now we have a match. So now we can set up our law of sines. Sine 58 over 11.46 equals sine r over 10. And again, you can do that in any order. I just happen to see the r. You okay with that? All right, so what do we do? Move the 10 over. So I'm going to write down here, I'll have 10 sine 58 over 11.46 equals sine r. So here we go. 10 sine 58, don't forget to close the parentheses, divided by 11.46. Did you get 0.74? I got 0.74?
Yeah.
All right, so now we second sine, second answer. And I got 47.73. Did you? Now we have one more angle to go. Don't make it hard. If that one's 58 and that one's 47, can we find that one? They have to add up to 180.
So we could just put 47 then? Or do we have to put 47.7?
Well, the directions will say round to the nearest hundredth, so I got 74.27.
Yep.
And we're done. Now, how did I know, because on the test these problems will be all mixed up, how did I know that this was going to have to be a law of cosines problem? Because in the beginning I didn't have a pair, and that's the only way the law of sines works. So if you have a pair, you're going to do law of sines. If you don't have a pair, you're going to do law of cosines. Let's see if we can get the next one at least started. Look at problem B. Do we have a pair? No. Okay. So we know we're going to do the law of cosines, right? I'm going to write it down again because I erased it, most of it anyway. And this time, luckily, I even have A, B, and C in my problem, so I can use the same letters. Okay? So do I have A? That's a little letter. Do I have it?
Yes.
What is it?
12.
So I'm gonna go ahead and put, 12 squared. I'm gonna go ahead and put 144. You okay with that? Now, do I have B? What's it? What's 14 squared? 196. Do I have C? 100. Well, it's 10, so square would be 100. Minus 2 times 10 times 14. Do I have angle A? That's my variable. So take a look at that. Does that make sense to you? All right, so let's see. Let's do some arithmetic here. So 144 equals, okay, these two can be added. This cannot. This is hooked to a cosine A. That can't be added up, but these two can be. 296. These can be times together, 2 times 14 times 10. So that would be 280. Now, kids always want to subtract these. That messes it up. These you cannot subtract. So here we are. We have 144 equals 296 minus 280 cosine. What are you going to do? How are you going to go about solving that equation? Subtract the 296. So that will be negative 152 equals negative 280 cosine A. Everybody with me? Now what? Divide. So I have 152 over 280 because the negatives will cancel, right? So 152 divided by 280, 0.54. Now, is that the answer, 0.54? No, that's the cosine.
Yeah.
So what do we do?
By the cosine?
Second cosine, second answer equals, and angle A is 57.12. That's A. Yeah, because that's what we solved for.
I got that.
You got what?
557.31.
Oh, you must have
Just a
some
quick
round up there,
reminder,
maybe?
students and teachers, that you will be sitting with your third period classes at the assembly. You'll go to the assembly with your third period classes.
Is the assembly first? Is after third? All right, your homework tonight. Give it a shot. Here it is. It's 5.6. 1, 3, 5, 11, and 29. Maybe I'll just, and number 29, do it in degrees. Maybe I'll just quit teaching and make rounds all the time.
No, actually, don't.
I got my name. Go to what?
They just, I need my calculators back. Sam.
Yeah.
Paul Peterson.
Tomorrow.
Okay, good. Have a good weekend, everybody.
You too.
I know you overstated. No, you did. We know you.